to the Bob Duco Show. Here's what I mean with Hillary Clinton. Okay, she was speaking. She was speaking at an event this week, Tuesday of this week. She's campaigning in Florida. Okay, fine, and she's talking about terrorism and how she's the one that can defeat ISIS and this type of thing. All right, and so she invoked 9/11. Now, y'all remember the 9/11 attacks, right? You remember right where you were when you first heard that the towers were hit by airplanes. I mean, that's one of those things where people always remember where they were at that moment, right? Well, here's what Hillary Clinton said at the rally, quote, "I know what happened not far from here at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando." She was talking about the terrorist attack. And then she says, "I was in New York City on 9/11 as one of the two senators. I will defeat ISIS. I will protect America." So she's out there telling the crowd that when the planes hit in New York City, that I was in New York City when that happened. Right. Here's the problem, folks. She wasn't. She wasn't. And it's a matter of public record that she wasn't. Even left-wing Politico acknowledges that she wasn't. Politico reported, quote, "As a United States Senator, she was in Washington, D.C. at her home in Whitehaven when the planes hit the World Trade Center. She spent most of the day reacting to attacks in media interviews from Washington, and then even joined her colleagues in singing God Bless America on the Capitol Hill steps in Washington, D.C. Now, I want to make sure everybody's clear on this, okay? Hillary Clinton says, when the planes hit, when 9/11 hit, I was in New York City that day. That's what she said this week. Yet you can see the videotape of Hillary Clinton the morning of 9/11 there in Washington, D.C. on the steps of the United States Capitol singing God Bless America with other members of Congress. She was right there. You can see her doing interviews from Washington, D.C. on 9/11. Trust me, folks, she did not get on a plane in New York the morning of 9/11 and then hurry up and fly to Washington, D.C. That didn't happen. It wouldn't be possible to happen. All flights were grounded, except Air Force One. Now, I understand that this can be dismissed as, oh, come on, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, okay, so she said she was in New York, and she was really in Washington, D.C. I mean, this was a long time ago, but she just forgot. Maybe she thought she was in New York. It could be an honest mistake. Sometimes you forget where you were on a certain day. Folks, no. There are certain events that happen in your life that are burned into your memory. You don't forget, okay? You can't not know where you were when the 9/11 attacks happened. I mean, come on, folks. Those of you listening to me right now, you knew exactly where you were when 9/11 hit, right? Come on. You know exactly where you were when that took place. When you first saw, when you saw or heard the reports of, hey, we're under a terrorist attack right now, and planes have just flown into the World Trade Center, and now the World Trade Center buildings have collapsed, and is there any chance at all that you could possibly be mistaken about what state you were in on the day that happened? There's no chance, right? And you're not a senator. You're not a senator from New York. So no, you can't not know where you were when the 9/11 attacks happened, especially if you're a U.S. senator, especially if you're a U.S. senator from New York. You know you're in Washington, D.C. She knows she was in Washington, D.C. And that goes to the point that I'm saying here, folks, that Hillary Clinton, I'm not saying that this particular issue in and of itself is a deal breaker. Okay, she lied about where she was on 9/11. Okay, fine. But my point here is it exposes something about Hillary Clinton that conservatives have said for a long time. This woman has a casual nature regarding the truth. She just casually, she's so used to lying that it just comes natural. She doesn't even think about it anymore. She could just stand there on a rally stage on 9/11. Oh, I was in New York when that happened. And it doesn't even occur to her to go, well, that's not really true anymore. It's like the lines are so blurred between what's true and what's not true, she just says whatever sounds good at that moment. Remember, this is the same woman who said nothing about getting the debate questions secretly snuck to her from CNN's Donna Brazile, who's now been fired from CNN. When those questions were given to Hillary Clinton's campaign, notice what Hillary Clinton and her campaign did not do. They did not go, whoa, this is wrong, this is inappropriate, give those questions back, let's let CNN know, we don't appreciate them trying to encourage us to cheat this way. No, Hillary Clinton just gladly cheated. This is the same woman who made up the Bosnia sniper fire story. Remember that? The flat-out lie. Oh, yes, we were under sniper attack flying into Bosnia. The plane had to corkscrew in, emergency landing, and there was supposed to be a greeting ceremony on the tarmac, but they canceled that because we all had to run with our heads down. Remember how she told that story? She apparently forgot about the fact that CBS News was there. Cheryl Atkinson of CBS News was there. We've had Cheryl Atkinson on this show talking about this. The cameras for CBS News were rolling, and you could see clearly there was no emergency landing. There was no sniper fire. The pilot of the plane even declared, we weren't under sniper fire, and there was no corkscrew landing. It was a normal landing. And the CBS cameras are rolling when you could see her getting off the plane, smiling and waving, the greeting ceremony there, her posing for pictures with children and talking for a while. And there was no running with your heads down. She made the whole thing up. Just made it up. Brian Williams made up a story like that with NBC News, and he got fired. Remember that? From the anchor desk. Hillary Clinton does things like this. She just has a serious, serious honesty problem. But you know what? She's still leading in the polls, isn't she? How scary is that? All right, you're listening to The Bob Dutko Show.